great.
Here.
Skype is a great program.
Yeah, I see him.
All right, we're back from commercial.
All right. So, last week we determined the best live stream game in 2013 was CS:GO, with runners-up to Dota 2 and some other shit that I can't remember.
We got a tweet from Todd Harris. He was not pleased with his honorable mention.
Yeah, I did see the tweet from Todd.
I tell you what, he was pleased that we had a category for this, though. We are ahead of the curve as always.
I would say we got an honorable mention from him for having
we did.
a category.
Equivalent.
He was mad that Smite was not on the list, but StarCraft 2 and Dota 2 and speedrunners as a whole category.
Hey, I talked out Smite. They've been doing some cool stuff, but CS:GO,
Hey,
that's a hard act to follow.
Todd Harris, you're going to listen to this podcast because you listen every week, but I gave you so much props at PAX Prime because Smite, more developers need to do what Hi-Rez does with streaming. And
oh, yeah, definitely.
Just stream your game 24 hours a fucking day on Twitch.
Good.
And I gave them tons of prop last week for their
you can do it right from your
spectator
console.
client.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm streaming Smite right now from my PS4.
Like a month.
PS4.
I'm streaming Smite from my PS4, aka I'm pointing the webcam at my monitor, and it's like a 200 by 200 pixel stream of Smite.
So, this week's category, though, is Best Graphics / Technical Achievement. So this isn't art style. So things for, like...
we definitely had some confusion on this last year.
Yes. So things like the new Telltale game, why am I blanking on it? My mind is gone. I'm too old.
Wolf with it. Oh, I just got an email
Wolf
from
Among Us.
change.org. Timeout. Target versus Thanksgiving. God damn it. I am asking Target to please keep all the stores closed on Thanksgiving Day by Patricia Stumpf. I'm done. I'm fucking
Please,
That's
Patricia,
never
shut
gonna
the
happen.
fuck up, Patricia. No one cares. No one fucking
Anyway.
cares.
Patricia,
Sorry.
So
Go ahead.
back to the award.
Patricia,
So it's
if I
not
may.
art. Not art style.
This is what change.org is doing, closing Thanksgiving. Like, are there other bigger issues in the continental United fucking States instead
No.
of Target being open on Thanksgiving? This is the kind of emails that I sign up for. I bet you I saw one fucking decent thing, like someone got killed over something bullshit, and I was like, I'm going to sign up on change.org. Target versus Thanksgiving is the headline. This is the shit. It comes to my Gmail. I'm
I'm
fucking
actually
out.
mad now. I'm actually mad now too because why
He
does
just
she
throws
care?
his cat. He just throws his cat.
Why does Patricia care? If you're mad that Target's open on Thanksgiving, don't go to fucking Target on Thanksgiving.
Probably
I feel like
has
it's,
a
I
lot
feel
of
like
good
it's
friends
just
on
more
that work
convenient
there.
for you. It's just more convenient for you. What if you
Hashtag kill Patricia.
like what the fuck?
I bet she has like a son that couldn't get off for Thanksgiving, and now he's not going to be able to make it to the family dinner, and she's
Well,
just
that fuck
taking
your
out her.
son. He's working at Target. You fuck.
Wow, Nick Fan
Shots
declaring war
fired.
on everybody
Set
who's ever
your
worked a
standards
shitty
correctly.
job.
Fed shitting on retail workers.
I'm not shitting on retail workers. I'm saying you should expect that when you're working at Target and you're a retail worker. Like that's what happens.
That's true.
Like,
Patricia, real quick. Patricia,
that's
can
what
we be real
happens
for a
when you
second?
work at
You and me,
Target.
Patricia, I'm talking to you now. Kill yourself. End your life, Patricia.
All right. So
You have better
this
things to
isn't-
do.
To
I
clarify
think
this
there were
category.
awards mentioned about something happening with that.
Yeah. So this
I
isn't
thought
an
we were talking
award
about
for
indie games. Apparently not.
for like. No, that's another day. That's what I was talking to you about.
We have to do
Anyway,
that on my show, apparently.
yeah, we're gonna do that on the next show. There's too many categories. There's more categories than there are podcasts between now and the end of the year. That's the problem. So, but anyway, this isn't about art style. So things like Wolf Among Us not on here. Well, the art style is tremendous. That's going to be its own category. And as
Graphics
Brandon
quality
said,
and technical achievement. I think that's
Yes.
a pretty good way to
yeah,
say
I
it.
thought that was a good way to say
Yeah.
it. So, on the list, I'll just run down the list real quick, and then we can talk about some of these. Crisis 3, of course. The
Right.
CryEngine bros, always pushing it as hard as they can. Metro Last Light, maybe the most demanding game of the year. Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy 14, Saints Row 4, Battlefield 4, a Doge GIF,
A really small Doge gift now.
Arma 3, BioShock Infinite,
Don't say
Call
this
of
next
Duty.
one.
I
Don't.
can't. No, I can't. It's already eliminated.
Yep,
It's
we're
already
eliminating it right now.
Yep.
Cross this out,
It's-
please.
Nope. Shadow Warrior, Batman Arkham Origins, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Company of Heroes 2, Company of Heroes 2, Total War Rome 2, Grid 2 and Assassin's Creed 4, which I've seen enough gameplay of to know how it looks. So personally, but
How did Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons get on the graphics list? Like,
I don't know
or
who put
even
it.
technical achievement. Like,
Technical achievement.
I was confused and I didn't realize it was technical achievement. I thought
Oh.
I just saw graphics, so we can remove
Yes.
that one.
well,
So-
even graphics. Like,
Yeah,
even
I
if you,
don't-
I could maybe
that
see
game does
art
not-
style, but like,
Yeah, no,
graphics,
that's-
I feel like
that's
it's
It's a
front to
pretty
back.
game. It's a pretty game.
Yeah, I mean, it's
confused, though.
but it's not like it's not pushing
I saw
graphics at
best
all.
graphics and I didn't read the rest, so I
So the
skipped
way
it.
we do
That's
this,
fair.
if you missed last week, if the fucking gift, stop it.
I got it deleted. I can't keep looking at it. I'm just
The
going.
way,
You're weak.
the way
You're all weak.
the way this works this year is like not really a voting system of everyone like we did last year. We discuss this shit
Each
like
one,
men.
and then
So let's just start at the top of the list. Crisis 3. If anyone can honestly, like, what do we even need to discuss? They
No, there's
always
no- yeah,
put out
absolutely.
the most demanding.
Yep, that one's staying on. So that's
Don't
really
have
all
to
that needs to be
debate
said.
it.
Yeah,
For right
that
now,
one's staying on.
that one's staying on.
Say
I
when
want
Nick,
Ghost back.
when Nick when
I'm
Nick
pissed.
played it. Nick
Dude,
played
I
it on
streamed it on low, and it looked fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. I know that my 7970 couldn't handle the multiplayer thing, the beta, like, it couldn't handle it at Ultra at all. It just, nope. So it was also the first game, I believe, to use over 2 gigabytes of video RAM on Ultra, which was the standard when it came out. So 2 gigabyte cards kind of got shit on by that thing. So Crisis 3, of course, they went back too after Crisis 2. Crisis 1, of course, we all know, a classic shit on your computer game. That was the whole point of Crisis 1.
It's just not even optimized well. It's just there to kill your computer.
Yeah, it's just there to destroy you. So
I can run Crisis 1 on ultra settings in my GTX 470. Get wrecked.
Well, you
As
can
about
run
the
it.
first
You can't
gen
run
that
it.
could've
You
done it.
can't run it well.
what's crazy is that like they still use. So part of this list was games I looked at on games they had to come out this year, obviously, but games that Anintech uses to bench, and Crisis 3 is on there, of course, and Crisis 1 and Crisis Warhead are still used, like
But they're
7 years
not
later,
optimized that well. I don't understand why they're still used. Like,
because they beat the
Ugh.
shit out of stuff, dude. Just
I
like
get it, but just use something that's like more reflective of what you can get today.
Does anybody remember, like, last year a MacBook came out and they benchmarked it on COD 4?
yes,
Does anybody remember that? That was fun.
Did that actually happen? I'm really.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, last year or a year or two ago.
That's pretty upsetting.
So, next game. Wait a minute. What is the hex? What are you doing to me? Oh, Metro Last Light. Metro Last Light is the next category. Am I the only one here who played Last Light? Possibly.
I watched you play last night.
Yeah, I watched it.
It looked good.
I
I've
could not
seen
run it.
the tech demo run a bunch of times. It's
Yeah.
pretty,
Yeah,
pretty.
we watched the tech demo run on Bob's computer for like 10 hours. But Last Light had on ultimate settings on Metro, you had to have SLI to run it, and it looked absolutely amazing. I think the effects they did for the HUD in that game, as someone who played it, when you like walked through gassy areas like poisonous areas or the nuclear rain outside, was one of the most impressive visual things I've ever seen. I think Metro has to stay.
Plus, it was made by, like, when we found out later, was made by a fucking sweatshop
dudes
of, like,
in a shack.
two guys, you know.
That's
so,
fair. Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like that
that-
kind of
yeah.
factors
I
into the
remember that.
technical
Yeah.
achievement part of it.
Has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
Last Light
Keep-
stays. All right, next game. I may have been the only one who played this on Ultra, but I think other people did play this game. Tomb Raider. Hair.
See, I feel like it
There.
got
I still don't think Tomb Raider looks as good as everyone jizzed
It
over.
it looks good. It doesn't look as good as like the other things in this category.
No.
Like
And
It's
Trust
also
Effect's
too
such a
kind of
gimmick,
cartoony
if-
for me.
if there we should have our own hair category, and I'm giving the unofficial hair award from KBMOD to Tomb Raider. Congratulations,
Okay.
you
There it
won.
is.
Nice one,
Unofficial
Squirtle.
violence
Hair.
boner.
I think.
So we're thinking. I think this is an absolutely breathtaking game to look at. But
I can see it for so many other things, like for story. Okay, it has a really
it's
good
Unreal
story.
3. It's Unreal 3, which not old. but they pushed that engine as far as it could go, I think, in Tomb Raider. I don't know, as I look at the rest of this list, that it could make a top 4 or a top 3, though.
Yeah, I don't think it could.
Also, this fucking Doge.
It's getting bigger.
Doge, oh my god.
Oh my god!
It's big. Oh my god. Oh.
Sean with a good point. The hair actually looked pretty bad, and he had an AMD
It
card.
really didn't look good. Like,
Yeah.
the dress effects did not work.
No,
Yeah.
it looked great.
It went all over the place. It didn't react like real hair. I don't
It
understand.
looked like your hair was having a seizure at
Yeah.
a rate. Like,
Okay.
It
Never
would, like,
mind.
hit her
Okay,
shoulders
okay,
and it would start
I'm
going into
changing the
epileptic
category.
shock.
I'm changing the category. I'm changing the category to best brown spaghetti wiggling around. There's Tomb Raider.
Okay, that's fair.
Hands are steady. Brown spaghetti.
So, Tomb Raider, I'm feeling like it's not making it.
R.I.P.
To a no.
Doesn't have a
Rip.
shot.
Alright, so Tomb Raider is out. This next one I feel is going to be the one up for great debate. People in chat already going hammer on it. Final Fantasy XIV.
It's a pretty
Which-
game. But like then the particle effects for it are really cool. Like if you crank it all the way up, it looks really good. But
It
like,
also destroys your computer cranked all the way.
yeah, it does.
It has 4K shadow textures. Come on, man.
This is a hard one. Well, like, obviously it's not on the technical levels of, like, Crysis, Metro, Battlefield, etc., but it's an MMO, so it's like a different...
That's
It's a different scale than the other games, so it's different. You have to kind of judge it accordingly.
What they did
even
with that
six.
engine, what they did, I'm going to be the sole fighter for this, I think, but what they did with that engine is so incredibly impressive to me. I've never seen better scenes in a game, as far as just looking around, than I have
watch the opening
in Final
cutscene.
Fantasy XIV.
Watch
like-
the opening cutscene. It's fucking absurd. It's absurdly good looking.
It also lasts
Watch-
1,000 years.
It is really long. It's
I'm
really
still
long.
watching it from when I first played the game.
There's a whole lot of that bullshit anime running on chocobos. Like, we're just gonna run this way. It's gonna be real cool. We're gonna play cool music. They do that shit. But
However,
It's very Japanese.
what I'm describing, I've watched the sunset in that game and been fucking impressed just watching
You've cried
the
to that sunset, haven't you?
Yeah,
You
I've
got it.
masturbated to that sunset
While crying.
which
and
Where
while crying.
crying
Yeah,
is
while
implied when
As
Dan
the tears
masturbates.
dribbled down to his dick, and he used it for lube for the sunset. It was impressive.
However, does this, as I hear
No.
my own
Actually-
argument, does this make it too much on the side of art style? Because the environments in that
See,
game
I
are
could
so
see it for
beautiful.
art style because it's a little different than like your run of the mill. Like WoW is so defined, and EverQuest has like its own thing, and even Guild Wars 2 does too. But it's very Final Fantasy. Like the whole game is just like, well, if you've played a Final Fantasy game, you know what you're getting into with the graphics. Like it's not pushing technically anything. Like it's its own art style.
The
I
argument
just-
from chat is that it's not DX11, so therefore it cannot win
I
this
think
category.
I think that's. I mean, I think that's valid. I think you're not. You are. I would argue that you probably are not pushing the boundaries if you are not using like DX11 at this point.
By the way, I didn't bring up the cutscene. I can
that was
run
me.
around that game and look around forever, but maybe that makes it better for the other category.
Red Baron's mad. Whatever. I don't.
Yeah,
care.
he's pretty
He's
angry.
always so
Reed,
mad.
Reed is just an angry ginger, is what he is.
I'm just saying.
He's still
saying.
trying
I
to
don't.
find
I'm
his
going to refute the art style argument because I do. I think that the art style is generally fairly unremarkable, but I think the game looks very remarkable, just not due to the art style.
It's also on a completely different engine. It's on like I
Than
believe
like
some
everything else.
Crystal engine. It's like a proprietary Square engine built from the ground up again. After they fucked up the first time, so. But from what we're saying, I think the majority would take this out. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I don't
So.
care. I haven't played like
Right.
80% of the games on this list.
So DX9 axes Final Fantasy 14, much to my own chagrin.
Oh, this next one, I'm ready.
Well,
to
this-
axe
Why
the-
is this on the list?
I'm ready to axe the fuck out of this.
Yeah, I don't
one.
understand this
I threw
one.
it on there. We can axe it right
Yeah,
away.
get the
No,
fuck
just
out of
axe
here.
it. Don't
Saints
even
Row-
mention it.
Saints Row 4, get the fuck
Don't-
out.
Wow.
It's Saints Row 3 DLC. Like
All right. So anyway,
looks
Saints
about
Row
the
4 just got shit on so fucking hard.
It's the same.
Arma,
Man.
The same.
all right. So Arma 3, or no, we're on Battlefield 4. My bad. Battlefield 4.
That's staying because
Does it?
Yeah, I mean that's not even a
there's
question.
no there's I will fight for
It's
this one
impressive
because
as
I've
fuck,
just
yeah.
I've played it on
if you need to, play
I played
Ultra.
it on SLI 680s, and
Yep.
as corny as some of like the Levolution stuff may be in terminology, that I think is a pretty awesome technical achievement. Like watching that stuff on Ultra is
Well, not only
it's
that, but to
staying.
be able to sync it across like a 64-player server and know that 60 other people are seeing that happen, like, oh, here comes this boat as it destroys this island, and the entire server is watching it happen. Like, that's a big technical
When
achievement.
that boat like that's a scripted event, right? Does that happen every time
Yeah, it
you play
happens.
that map?
Well, it doesn't necessarily happen every time, but it will happen.
But it's when that first happened, like I saw that for the first time today. I was like, I don't know where my camera just went, but
Yeah, they all kind of died, but that's
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, one's
Hey.
died.
cool. I was just like I was standing right on the island it crashed into, and I just turned around. There's this big fucking tanker just like I was like, I was flabbergasted. And I wish my camera didn't just die so I could show you the face I made, but no. Thanks, Skype. You're a great program, but it's huge scale. I think it's really looking at the scale of how great. Like if it was like Call of Duty looked that good, which it doesn't, that would be just that would be okay. It's a pretty good looking game. But the fact that Battlefield has the scale and the chaos and everything going on at the same time, it's rendering so much shit. It definitely
I
deserves
feel
it.
like you also kind of have to maybe throw Battlelog in with that. Like that's a
No,
part of the
nope.
game.
Nope.
That
nope,
doesn't
nope.
have.
I don't
really-
have to
well,
do shit.
Doesn't have anything to do with graphics.
It doesn't. It
graphical
doesn't.
stuff.
But that is a technical achievement.
I
But
that
I
will
would say-
count
Brandon,
towards my
so
vote.
you are they paying you to promote
No,
Battle
but I would
No,
say
it looks
They are.
incredible.
Let me
I-
bring up the most impressive thing about that map, the one where the ship comes in. The storm itself
Yes.
is one of the most impressive
Yeah, it looks so
things
good.
you will ever see in a game. If you look at the palm trees, it looks like footage when you see a hurricane.
It looks like news footage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like
Well,
I have,
It is crazy.
yeah, and not every map is like that, but it's. I mean, Battlefield 4 has to stay.
even if you're not like satisfied with the quality of the multiplayer map visually, which you fucking should be, crank that game up to ultra and play the campaign because the campaign is just pretty as hell. It will melt
That's
your
why
face.
I wanted to play the campaign just
It's
because
just pretty. That's like
Yeah.
There are characters. I didn't realize it was. I was just here to jerk off to textures.
That's all I
So
wanted to do with that.
and the
single
thing
player.
about BF4 too, and this is not the same with all games. For instance, Last Light is the one where the SSAO in that game is so demanding. The high level graphics in that game is so demanding that you can't even get the full experience without 2 video cards. And like that's great. That's like it looks insane on that. But for you can't even see the full potential of the game. If you play BF4 on medium, it still
Dude,
looks
I'm telling
fucking
you, man.
incredible.
When I load it in on my 470, I'm like, holy shit, dude! I mean, I'm at 1440 by 900. If I upgrade to a 1080p monitor and a good video card, I'm not going to survive. So, I'm fine. Yeah, it still looks good, even on shitty
Yep.
resolutions. Like,
So this next one, I don't know if any of us have played, but I've watched a good amount.
Yeah, I've watched.
Yeah,
Arma 3 has probably the best water and the best rendering, like of a landscape that I've ever seen.
the
Just-
detail
yeah.
level is really intricate.
It is. It's incredible. You can see forever in that game.
Yeah, you can.
Draw distance in that game, and people, always complain about the Arma engine looking like shit, but or running
It's
like
just
shit.
boring.
Be that as it
it
may.
just is like the most.
I feel like- but I
brown,
feel like
green,
performance
dull
should-
engine.
I feel like the performance should be criticized in regards to tactical achievement. I feel like
Yeah, I think that's valid.
Oh, I think that's valid. Yeah, I just praised Battlefield 4 for running and looking beautiful.
yeah,
On everything. But I would say I've seen like shots of sunsets in Arma 3, and also we cut a highlight of Ches flying into the water in like an LAV. The water in that game, probably the best water of any game I've ever seen. And also underwater with the light looks incredible.
Yeah.
I would vote myself to keep this one on for the final stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I think it's
I
definitely
think
should
it
get
is
there with
worthy
comparison.
just because it is kind of pushing the boundaries. It's just that it's also it's kind of hard to tell at some points what's pushing the boundaries, which is causing your performance to be bad, and what is just not good optimization causing your performance to be bad. sometimes it's hard to tell what the culprit is.
Real quick, I just got a tweet from someone. Beyond Two Souls. It's not a PC game, so it can't be on here. So if it was on the PC, maybe it would be, but it's not. Sorry, it's a PC podcast. Sorry, dude. That's just
After we talked for like 6 hours about the PS4, shut up.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't include. We don't include
Those games.
We don't. GTA 5 isn't on this list, is it?
Listen.
Well,
we don't
GTA
drink from the
5, I
same-
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't put
I'm
GTA
just saying,
5 on
Last of
there
Us.
anyway.
Last of Us is on this list.
We don't drink from the same water fountain as those games. Okay, that's how this works.
Oh my fucking god.
We don't use the same bathrooms.
Oh my
That's how it
god.
works. There's a separation.
Fuck,
There's a
I'm
line.
out.
Did
I
that
have to leave this
being said-
podcast
Whoa!
now.
Did Beyond
Scott's
Two
go-
Souls? Did Beyond Two Souls just come into my diner and sit
Yeah.
at the bar with me?
Yep.
Did that
Jesus
just happen?
fucking
I know
Christ.
this didn't just happen.
Scott's gonna be driving by like the Xbox 360 or Xbox One lineup with like a fire hose, just start blasting them, pinning them against the
I
wall.
will say.
When
I
did the
will
console
say-
war turn into 50s racism in the South? What the fuck just happened?
Hey,
What
Jim
just
Crow
happened?
laws,
That's
KB
where
laws.
we're
who
at.
said
Anyway,
that? I didn't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, where did
Let me-
you get
let me-
this?
Let me say this though: when GTA 5 comes out for PC / next gen, you can be damn sure it'll be on a bunch of lists for 2014.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But until that happens,
Well, unless
Yeah.
it runs like GTA 4 did.
well, if
That's fair,
If it's a
yeah.
port, if it's a port like that.
It doesn't count if it was modded to look awesome.
All right, next game, which may be a Final Fantasy 14 case again, BioShock Infinite.
Nah.
Even though I didn't think this game was all that great, it was gorgeous. Like I started that game up on Ultra and just was like, wow.
Fuck. Actually, you're right. Yeah.
God,
Like I don't think the game
scary.
as a game, I don't think it was that good of a game. Like I don't think it deserved all the praise it got. But like when you go down into that church with all the bloom and glow effects from the candle, like, and you walk out into Columbia the first time and the sun is there and it's just so bright and
Yeah. Art style.
Maybe-
It's really.
maybe it's an art style game. Maybe it's not like pushing.
However,
That's
that's another game that runs awesome on pretty much anything.
True.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard for me to separate the technical piece from the art style because I think the art style was awesome, but it also did. I mean, it looked good. I don't know that I can put it in with the same category as the other games we've talked about.
It's
I can see that.
It's
I
hard
agree
to-
with Ren in the chat. It's an art style thing, and even then, I don't think the art style is that good because everybody has an asshole face.
That's true. They do all have asshole faces. Wow, I
They
never
look
even
like
thought about
they look like assholes.
They just all look like assholes. It's like- That's true.
See, I
Depends
think
on how
I'll
you want to
go
take
for
it.
the
Do you
art
want to
style
say
one. This would be a good one for the art style category, not for best technical performance.
Yeah, art style this year has so many good games in it.
You know what is really pretty is the Burial at Sea DLC.
I haven't played-
not played that, by the way. I gotta get that shit.
It's real good. It's real BioShock Infinity. Like, get your brain ready.
Well, I got my dick ready, so I'll get my brain
Yeah,
ready.
get your dick ready as well.
This next game, I don't know if anyone here played but me and Hex. I don't know if Hex played it that long, but
I didn't play a ton of it. I mean, it looks like a
Shadow
game.
Warrior, an absolutely beautiful game, and they really, I believe it's on Unreal. Oh no, it's on the Hard Reset proprietary engine.
Yeah.
And they actually, it's an update of the Hard Reset engine. One of the best looking games of the year that nobody played because it was $40 and shouldn't have been, probably.
If that game was $20, it would have sold gangbusters. So like $40 is too much.
But Shadow Warrior, if you watch me stream it, you know how good it looks. It looks amazing. The amount of enemies they throw on the screen, too, is incredible.
But does it look as good as anything else that's in the list? Like I watched you play
I think
parts
it
of
looks
and I played some
just
of
as
it.
good as Last Light. I really, truly.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I just think it suffered some performance issues for sure. Dear God. Drop frames like crazy. Really big frame gaps. I think it looked as good as Last Light, but it certainly didn't run as well. And technically, that engine, what I would like to see is those dudes at Flying Wild Hog, they need to take that engine and they need to license it. And they need to be like,
Well-
you guys out there make some games on this.
But
Because
that would be good.
I
I mean,
I don't think it's as good as any of the other games in terms of visuals.
So
I,
we don't think
I didn't think it was anything special. Like, I thought it looked good, but like, it didn't look as good as even Crisis 3. Like,
well, Crisis 3 is probably
Crisis 3 looks ridiculous, though.
looks incredible.
I wouldn't say it even looked as good as Battlefield 4, and like, that's
Well,
arguably...
that game's even more ridiculous.
I get that's the thing is, I mean, does it warrant consideration?
I don't think it does, and
Okay.
I love
It
that.
does either.
I think we have to defer to you because you're the one who's actually played it. In
Brandon,
comparison
you
to
should
these
play
other
it
games.
sometime on SLI cards and let me know.
I
because-
want to try now that we have the Steam sharing stuff. I will dig into more of these.
Yeah. So Shadow Warrior doesn't make it, but again, kind of like Smite, honorable mention. That engine needs love from other people. Flying Wild Hog, please.
Make someone who can make games use your engine.
Hard Reset's a really good game. You shut your mouth.
It is a good game. No, it is. I actually really enjoyed Hard Reset.
Shadow Warrior is a really good game, actually. This next one I think is getting struck off immediately, but I'll read it off anyway. Batman Arkham Origins, the game that could have been, in my opinion.
Comic book nerds, get the fuck out of here.
Why didn't they use... What I don't understand, obviously it's a series, so this may have been in development well before then, probably was. Why not just wait for a new Batman game on Unreal 4? That, I think, would have been a better decision.
Because the Rocksteady's already working on the other Batman game.
True.
And they're Assassin's Creeding this bitch.
They are.
I mean, Origins didn't look any
right?
better than any of the other Batman games.
No, it
like,
really didn't look any better than the other.
I mean, if we're doing a special shout out to snow moving around when you walk through it, I mean, it leaves footprints.
A really
So-
specific category.
Yeah.
Snow that leaves footprints.
All right, Snow Footprints
You know,
Award,
best.
KBMOD Award goes to Batman Arkham Origins, along with brown spaghetti wiggling around to Tomb Raider.
These are fucking super professional awards.
As Todd Harris said, we're always on the front end
Yep.
of award technology. All right, these next two games are included not because anyone here played them, because they're always used for benchmarks, and they just came out this year. Company of Heroes 2, which is an RTS title. I haven't played
I've
it.
seen
Brandon,
footage
you
of
have
it. It looks really good.
I don't know.
I mean, I can unfortunately I can only speak to the beta, which ran horrendously. But again, that's not a fair judge at all. So I can't really say for these two.
You want to put a
And
little
to-
maybe check mark next to?
I mean,
Well, I know-
doesn't
I could-
Total War Rome 2 have like a bajillion units on
Yeah,
screen?
the
at
thing
once?
about Total War is that the scale is just ridiculous. Like you can zoom down to and look at like single soldiers.
So much like Arma 3, like, the technical achievement of Rome 2 is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, like I could see that. But
thousands
Company of Heroes, I don't know. I never cared for those games.
Yeah, RTS
Yeah,
games
very
never,
good.
even though this game is always used as benchmarks, RTS games for me never really represented some
I feel like it's used for benchmarks just because there's so many things hitting other things. Like it's just
Yeah.
like stuff hitting things.
See, I think
Literally
Total War
and in
Rome
terms
2
of-
would be technical achievement. Company of Heroes 2, strike it.
Yeah. So, Total Rome, I think we're going to keep. Also, we gave away 2 copies of that during Extra Life, so if you guys
We'll just have them. We'll just have them vote. That was actually
Yeah,
part
those two
part
vote.
of your winning was you were actually going to help us decide this category.
Yeah, we will suggestion in chat from St. Jimmy. St. Jimmy, we may put up fan votes. I got to find a way to do polls well on the site. So, we have the lists fully. So.
Yeah, I
Total
feel like-
War Rome 2, I think we need to keep.
I feel like it deserves it because of the scale.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I even remember when the first Total War came out. However, how long was that? That was a long time ago. That game still blows me away at how ridiculous it is.
So,
I think it's hard to compare it to a lot of the other games on the list, which are mainly first-person shooters. So the technical achievement part is different because it's not going to look the same. The achievement there is the fact that they have crazy scale with a ton of AI routines and things all going on at once, and the graphics look good.
Yeah. So Total War makes it. We have an actual top 5 for this category thus far. All right, Grid 2. Grid 2 racing game.
I can't.
Where's
I
Mike
have not.
Pollack for
I have
racing
not
games?
watched, played, or barely.
Yeah,
I know the game exists. so,
Again,
like,
always used for benchmarks. That's why I threw it on here. Have not played it.
I played Grid 2. Grid 2 automatically loses
Didn't
because
play
they were so
LOL.
lazy. They couldn't even render the interior of a car for a good cockpit mode. Like,
Okay,
no.
well, that
GG.
See
yeah,
ya.
that actually,
You've heard it directly from a man who appreciates a good cockpit.
That's true.
Let me tell you about my
like-
cockpit.
have you played Hex? Let me ask you a question. You played Grid 2. Have you played
Yeah.
Forza 4?
Yes.
Which
Forza's
looks
a way
better?
better game. It's a way
Okay,
fucking better
well,
game.
no, but does it look better? Does
Yes.
Forza look?
It
Forza-
looks better on a 360 from 2004 than Grid 2 does on a modern PC.
Okay, well
Like,
then that just answered our question. Essentially with Grid 2.
GG.
I
Grid
have
2
Forza
getting
4.
absolutely murked.
Amazing.
I knew we brought you in here for a reason.
So this last game,
Knowledge drop.
technically not out till Tuesday on PC. I've seen a lot of gameplay though from next gen. Game looks fucking really good despite the frames drops on next gen, which will hopefully not be.
I don't think it looks that good.
Assassin's Creed 4.
I don't think it can be
I don't-
in consideration.
No, I don't think with this.
No, it's not even
I,
out yet.
it looks like 3 but polished in terms
Let me
of visuals.
let me
to
interrupt
me.
real quick. I tried to start doing these awards near the end of the year, and once Watch Dogs and The Crew got canceled, I was essentially like, "What the fuck else is coming out?" Nothing. Turns out Assassin's Creed 4 was still
That's
coming
fine.
out.
That's fine. They could have launched a couple weeks earlier. Maybe they would have made it. But
Well, they
sorry.
launched on console last week, so
Yeah, well, that
That's
was a
a pretty
mistake,
cool
wasn't it? Because
story.
we're doing it this week.
That's a pretty cool story you just told, Dan. Get it the fuck off the list.
Fucking Brandon just shit on Assassin's
so
Creed
bad.
4 so hard.
See you later.
all
They,
right.
they didn't consult me for their launch date.
Which was a
That was
mistake.
just, that was just a
Ubisoft
clarification
Barnes.
for people who are like, "Why aren't you including other games?" But I tried to wait till Battlefield 4 and COD came out at least for all the awards. Once those games got canceled,
Fish move out of the way.
it kind of fucked up all my awards debate hopes with Watch Dogs and The Crew not coming out as well. So it was like, God damn, we wouldn't have started till next week with any of these because of those two games. Watch Dogs, I am 100% sure would have been up for this award.
And I think we can
It's
already be reasonably certain that there are games here for consideration that outdo AC4 technically.
Yes.
I don't think that's
Oh,
Well,
a
the thing
question.
about Assassin's Creed is like
4
the
out of
sce-
5 of these do.
the scenery may be really nice to look at, and like cities and stuff, but yeah, like buildings and trees and all that stuff, it's all static. Like
Yeah.
it's I
Like,
know,
don't tell me AC4 would beat out Battlefield in this category. It's
Yeah.
just
So-
not, it's not
Right.
happening.
So after our first round of cuts, we had like 2,
You have 5 left.
We had 14 games to start with. We have 5 left. So far now we have Crisis 3, Metro Last Light, Battlefield 4, Arma 3, and Total War Rome 2. Let's start with Total War, which is a game that none of us have played, I don't think. But I do know the ridiculous amount of shit going on at once in that game is impressive. I think visually you have to strike this game.
I think
Because
Yeah,
it's
probably.
just not that type of game, so I don't know that it can win this.
Strike it. Lash it.
Yeah.
Give it 40 lashes.
Wow, dude.
Where's the cat of
Now we're
nine
getting
tails?
weird Sonic fucking pictures.
God,
I
why?
Cannot even, I cannot even in this doc.
Oh, God.
So I think Total War Rome 2.
I think we also just don't have enough context. I think it's worthy of consideration, but we haven't played it enough to know to see how it stands up to these other games.
So Total War Rome 2. But we have 4 games left. Crisis 3, Metro Last Light, Battlefield 4, Arma 3. Let's go to Arma 3. I don't know, man. It's pretty...
It looks really good. And like, I will go to bat for Rowan because he yelled at us in IRC literally all week about this because he knew this was coming this week.
I want to just get rid of it
looks
because he's so
really
mad about
fucking
it. Can we
good.
just nuke it because he really cares.
Again, I think it falls into the Shadow Warrior trap of someone else take this engine.
I feel like we should
Yeah,
do like
that's
America's
fair.
Got
Here's the
Talent
thing,
and
like-
have big X's in front of us so that we can just like we can X out games. But instead we'll just make noises.
Well, Arma 3 looks so good and it's very detailed and the water is amazing.
But
Lighting's
again,
really
I
good.
would say
But
the
it's so
models.
boring.
What about the models? I don't think they look any better than anything
The models
else.
don't
they
look any
look
better than
so-
PS4.
Here's the thing. You know what, Arma? Release DayZ next year, and then that will be in consideration for next year, almost certainly, and maybe you'll win then.
No, it won't.
Boom. There you go.
No.
It's not going to win.
Yep, Arma 3 dead.
Arma will never win. I don't care if it's the best
I have a
looking game
personal
ever.
vendetta against that game now. So like I'm so biased against that game.
Just because Rohan likes it so much, it will never win. Ever. Nope. Exit.
So But I just think as a total package, it does have some of the best environments. The draw distance in that game, I don't know, is rivaled by any
Crazy.
out there, but I just don't know if it hangs with the final three we have here: Crisis 3, Metro Last Light, and Battlefield 4.
I can't see people saying how could Metro Last Light stay and Arma be gone.
Well, Metro Last Light is one of the most demanding games ever made.
Yeah.
So that
It does look good.
Are you going to go from the graphic standpoint or the technical achievement standpoint? Because I feel like I'm with Brandon on this one, and Battlefield 4's Battlelog from a technical achievement standpoint, and also as far as like all the Levolution bullshit, it's technically more impressive than Last Light or Crisis 3.
I don't.
Here's
I
my
can understand
vote
the
for-
server side stuff, but I don't think Battlelog should be in this at all. I feel like
I
it's
agree.
more of an
It's
more of an
Alright.
in-game experience type of thing.
I think remove Battlelog. I still vote BF4.
That's so. Here's my vote. I think would be for BF4 because the graphical stuff is incredible. Even if you take Battlelog out from it, all of my like complaints and reasons I don't like Battlefield, every single one of them is related to something gameplay wise or something. The actual look of the game is phenomenal. Like the way the maps look, the quality of the maps, like just looking. Every piece of that, like that would almost have been worth my $60 alone just to see this stuff running on awesome hardware.
So here, just to play devil's advocate on the flip side, with Battlefield 4, if you want to talk about technical achievement, think about all of the people that we play with in the KB Marines and all the people that we like have the game. How many times has that game crashed on you?
a lot.
Well, again, we're
Ooh,
talking
I like
about,
that though.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Technical
I
achievement-
like that counterpoint. I like that.
Like,
I
that
agree with
is
that.
not
Nick just
a
popped a
table
boner
at
and
all.
is jerking off to the counterpoint. Jeez.
Oh man.
I think here's the
Hex,
thing:
keep
we have
going.
we have to decide.
Else? Hex.
I think we have to decide what the scope of this category is.
counterpoints, Pewds? Do you like it when I make an argument for you? Felix, this is my real counterpoint.
Tell you, my counterpoint is actually
A pterodactyl. The sequel.
All right. So Brandon's arguing for Battlefield 4. Scott is crying himself to sleep. I think Hex is arguing for Battlefield 4 as well.
No, I love Battlefield 4, and I didn't really care for Battlefield 3 all that much. I thought it was okay. It's a great game. I had a lot of fun with it. It's really fun to play with us as a group, but I think it's a really buggy game. Like, Rocco literally would play it for 5 minutes and immediately drop to 2 frames a second. So if you want to talk about technical achievement, like, yeah, it does a lot of cool things, but it's a buggy-ass game at the same time.
The thing is, I think we've all had way more exposure to Battlefield than we have Crisis or Metro, so there could have been similar bugs that I don't know about. Like, I can't say whether or not those games were also buggy
Let
on
me say
launch.
this. I put in my argument for Crisis 3 simply because CryEngine does more than any other engine. You may not like the shininess of that engine as far as the look, but when Nick Fenton on fucking low streaming it
low.
walked through a
100%
field,
true.
walked through a swamp that was like
And the
all
grass-
long grass,
single
and every
grass
single
fucking
blade
moving.
was moving like independently. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
On low, I mean,
That's
that's
on
really
low.
impressive.
Yeah.
And spoiler, my vote is for Crisis 3. That's what I'm voting for.
I think Crisis 3, and I love Last Light. So this is... I think Battlefield 4 doesn't look different enough to me from Battlefield 3 to... It does get rid of the blue
That's a
tint. It
good
does look
argument.
better. But I don't think it looks like it went very many places. There are impressive things I already talked about. The storm on Paracel. All that kind of stuff is impressive. But... to me, it comes down to Crisis 3. The cloth in Crisis 3
Yep.
is incredible to look at. Like, more games that... even that snow fucking ski game on that engine looks incredible. What they've done with that game is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And this is actually a change. Y'all eliminated my actual nominee, so I'm going for Crisis 3 here.
Yeah, man.
Your actual nominee was God Ghost, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 is the best looking game I've ever set eyes on. But anyway, I think Crisis 3 wins this. Last Light, I think, is second to me because technically just
Are we taking
destroyed
votes?
Seas.
Take
no,
votes.
we're kind of
Let's
all right.
let's
All right.
vote
Crisis
this.
3.
Crisis. That's 2 for Crisis 3.
Crisis
Who's
3.
next?
Yeah,
4
I say Battlefield 4.
BF4.
3 for
3 and
We're
3.
split into the fucking
have
middle.
tie.
God damn it.
Real?
Get mad.
2 winners get destroyed.
How are we settling this? We haven't.
Well, we
we-
did ties last year.
Yeah.
So-
it's a
Yeah, we
tie.
did.
It's not. There is no
It's a tie.
winner. This is the
I'm-
round table piece.
Everybody loses.
I'm okay with this tie. I'm okay with
Yeah,
this.
no, this is a solid tie. I think
No,
because
these
it's hard
three-
to even say, which is better. They're both
I
so
hope I don't
amazing.
regret this as much as I still regret Game of the Year last
No, let's
year.
not talk about
I
that.
hate
We're not
No.
talking about that anymore. We're not
No.
talking.
That
Nick,
didn't happen.
Nick, if you take a look at some Crisis 3 on Ultra footage,
I've
you'll
played
know you
Crisis-
don't regret this. Like, this is okay. This feels
Oh,
okay.
I thought you were talking to me.
I thought you were
No.
talking to him.
No, I'm talking to you.
And
Black
also, I voted for BF4.
Oh yeah, I recently played Crisis 3 again on my 770 because now I can play it on Ultra. Ooh, that game.
I have to vote for BF4 because I haven't
Let's
watched
play
anything
Ultra.
from Crisis 3, let alone played it. So
Felix, how do we break a tie?
So
So
there you go,
Battlefield
guys.
ties based on Nick Jenkins' ignorance.
yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
That is at Blacklight Attack on Twitter. Please
Hey.
direct your hate
I can't
appropriately.
emulate it on JNES, so fuck it.
So,
give a damn.
by the way, now that chat has brought this up to me, we are going to run polls on these categories for user
Yeah.
base
We're
winners.
gonna run straw polls and then print out the results, and then I'm gonna shit on them live on my channel, twitch.tv/JPL
and for those, I had
Fuck
people
the fans.
express concern that there wasn't going to be an award show this year. There will still be a wrap up show where we go over all the categories at once, and we'll also go over the user votes on that. So,
Cuts. I'm gonna host that.
so
shit.
to go over it again, the nominees that survived the first round of cuts: Crisis 3, Metro Last Light, Battlefield 4, Arma 3, and Total War Rome 2. And then the winners, the co-winners this year, Crisis 3 and Battlefield 4. And just to remind you, last year, if I can pull it up, who the winners were. The winners were! For Best Graphics last year, the nominees were Far Cry 3. For some god-awful reasons, Assassin's Creed 3 was a nominee. Borderlands 2 and Dishonored, and Far Cry 3 won as it should have, because that was clearly
Yeah.
the best game last year.
I think
but,
we also took art style into account last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
We did.
That
we
was
did.
a whole mash of
But
things.
Far Cry 3, technically, you could definitely put a good argument, though. That was pretty much...
Dishonored is another game where everybody has an asshole face.
Yeah.
Well, they've
So-
got stretched
Dishonored
out
is a
asshole
terrible
faces.
game, and you should be bad. You should
That's
feel
what-
bad about yourself if you
that's
voted
my-
for that at all last year.
My favorite kind of asshole.
The stretched out asshole faces.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Call me
Like an
Bill
asshole
Gates.
that's been, just beat.
So there you go. 2 awards down this year. Like 7 or 8